and what business you represent. And if you're comfortable turning your cameras on so people can see who you are. So Steph, if you are still there, I'm going to start with you. I know she had said that she was working in the background, so maybe we're going to start with Jen. Not you, Jen, Jen online. So if you'll unmute yourself, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not actually a business. I'm just here for the donuts and yogurt. No, I'm an artist. I paint. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm painting the edge. But yeah, I'm Jennifer Kai. I don't know if I've met you. I might have met you at the Dried and Handmade Market or something. What else did you want to know?
So do you sell your artwork to the general public? Where can people get a hold of you? Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, I have a new Facebook page because the old one got, like everybody else, gets shut down for some reason. And it's Jennifer Kai Artist. And I have an Instagram page, Jennifer Kai Art. Used to be both art, but then I got canceled. And my website's the same, jenniferkaiart.ca.
Okay. So even if you want to put that in the chat, then people can check you out. We appreciate it. And
Sure.
Thank you, Jen.
Yep.
Len, you're next.
We'll try we'll try the camera. I got a bit of a radio face here, but I'm Len Hui, and my wife and I own Bonnie Bay Camp here on Lake Wabigoon in Dryden.
Len?
Fellow Pickle Acre.
Oh,
I used to be.
world.
Yeah.
So am I.
Oh, really?
Still up there.
Huh, okay.
Okay. I'm gonna probably not spell it or pronounce this correctly. Juliana?
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I'm Juliana, and I'm an internship position in the municipality of Toluca. So I just kind of want to know a little bit more about marketing, as I graduated as graphic design, which is a little bit related, but not fully. So,
Well, welcome, and thank you for joining us today. And Steph has put hers in the chat. So any of you that joined us in December for our business mix and mingle, Steph, I'm looking at Jen, calling Steph, provided her expertise and the equipment. And so we all made ceramic Christmas ornaments, which was awesome. So check her out. She's got some amazing stuff. Jen, in the room, you're up next.
So I'm Jenny Wheatley, and I own NWO Business Consulting. So I do bookkeeping. I will consult with you on anything from how do you take your business from a side business to an actual business, to setting up your books, to maintaining your books, to basically whatever you need. It's from start to end. I'll be with you if you want my services.
And what about your other business?
Oh, yes. I also own, I'm also a co-owner in D&J Food Services. We own Hojo Coffee and Eatery located in Kenora. So if anybody's in Kenora, we're just on Main Street there, almost right across from the new fabric store for those who are quilting first, and or kind of kitty corner from the Scotiabank. So please stop in. We do everything in-house, soups, sandwiches, and lots of baking.
Excellent. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So quick introduction, who you are,
My name is Ajit James. I work with RBC as a financial planner. And I moved to Dryden a few months back. So I'm just attending a few events to get a feel of the community and to also see if there's any services RBC can provide to the business owners.
Thank you. Karen?
I work for Cloverbelt Abattoir, manager there.
So in Dryden, we have a wonderful local abattoir that has a wide variety of items that they sell, not just meat. Pierogies is another one.
Chocolate,
Chocolate.
cheese,
Yeah.
lots of meat
Lots of meat.
from lamb and goat, cow, chicken, hogs.
Mm-hmm. And so their meat is sourced locally within, shall I call it our region?
Within 4 hours, yeah, like Thunder Bay, Steinbach in.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked them out, it's amazing. And at this time, I am going to turn the floor over to Hope Murdick, who is PACE's Business Development Coordinator. And she's going to give you a update on her background and take it away.
Okay. Yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Hope and I'm the Business Development Coordinator here at PACE. Before moving back to Dryden, which was just a little over a year ago now, and I joined PACE, I guess, a year ago. I just had my 1-year anniversary. But before that, I was living and working in the city, working in advertising agencies predominantly. So I have a master's degree in what's called promotion and imaging, which is kind of like a branding and marketing degree. And then I, after university and even before university, worked with a variety of different brands and many different facets of marketing. When you work in an advertising agency, you're kind of looking at all of the different marketing tactics and what levers can be pulled to make the most sense for the client or whatever objective they might have. So it's cool that I'm able to zoom out, kind of strategize the right tactics to use, and then figure out how to help the business. And so that's kind of something that we're going to talk about today. I've also owned my own business. I owned a supplement company, which we started and grew to having multi-million dollars in sales actually in just a few years before I decided to depart the business. And that was part of the moving back to Dryden and, you know, just starting a new chapter here in Dryden. So I know what it's like to be on sort of like working with these big brands that might not feel the most applicable to, you know, someone with a smaller home business. But then I also know what it feels like to start from scratch and build a business. So yeah, that's just a bit about my background. So what we're going to cover here today, and if any of you were able to attend our initial marketing breakfast club that we did a little while ago, this actually series is a result of that, because when we were going through that, so many niche topics came up that people were like, I want to drill in harder on a website. I want to drill in harder on email marketing, whatever. We took our most commonly requested topics and put together this 5-part series. But in that talk, I really stressed about how important it is to understand the fundamentals of brand before you could understand the fundamentals of marketing. And today, what we're going to talk about is the fundamentals of the consumer journey and the different phases of a consumer journey before we decide which marketing tactics are going to make the most sense for your business, depending on where you're at. Because there are 50 plus different marketing tactics that you could leverage. And so how do you know which ones to prioritize or which ones make the most sense for your business or the goals that you have right now? So we're going to go through what a consumer journey is and why you should be thinking in sort of the mindset of a consumer journey. We're going to talk about some foundational marketing tactics and where they might make the most sense. And then we're also going to just talk about how marketing is a funnel that ultimately leads to sales, which of course is what all of you want so that your businesses do well. So before I dive in, does anybody have any questions or anything that they want to sort of set as an intention or something that you're really hoping to take away from today?
And for anybody online, anytime you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask.
Jump in.
Yep.
If not, I can just hop right into it. And also, I invite you guys, if you at any point want to share like stories or struggles or examples of people who you've seen do this well, like please feel free to jump in. We can make this very interactive. Okay. Oh, the other thing I'll mention, you've all been given a handout. Those online, I popped the handout in the actual chat and it'll also be emailed to you. This handout isn't like a play-by-play script of what I'm going to be talking to you right now, but more so the key points and takeaways. So, so you've got these handy to you once we're done. Okay, so first and foremost, what is the customer journey? So I want to invite you guys to think about the customer experience as having 4 phases. You don't just meet a customer and say, buy my thing, and then they buy it. Like, if only it were that easy, but when there's so much competition and buyers are, you know, cautious, they want to be conscious with their money, especially right now. Of course, we're seeing people being more and more conscious with their money. There are these sort of phases that they need to move through before they decide to spend their money on you or buy your product. So the first phase is called awareness. And literally that's what it is. It's like that tap on the shoulder. Hey, we exist. This is, you might have a need or a problem and like, hey, here we are, and we fulfill that need or solve that problem or fulfill that interest of yours. So awareness is very much that just initial handshake. Hey, how are you? Then there's the consideration phase. So this is where you're kind of trying to woo them. It's like, here's some information about what we do. You're educating them, you're inspiring them, you're letting them know about the different things that you have to offer and why they should maybe think about acting on your business, whether that act is to purchase a product, subscribe to your service, book a meeting with you so that you can, you know, take it one step further. That's all the consideration. Then there's the decision. So this is, they make a purchase. They sign up for whatever you've got going on. Typically, you get that purchasing across the line with a tactic like you offer them a promo or you give them, you know, just something that they can't refuse. But you get them to make the decision after they've met you, after you've wooed them a little bit and they're convinced in you, then you hit them with something so that they will make a decision and ultimately become your customer. And that's, it doesn't then just end there, because if we think of customer acquisition, like that's the hardest piece, right? Is like getting them to be your customer. Once you make a customer, that is like such a success, and you don't want to let that blunder. So the post-purchase part of the experience or the customer journey is extremely important as well. How are you staying in touch with them? How are you consistently making them feel valued? How are you keeping them a loyal customer who is having positive word of mouth and telling their friends and blah, 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 blah. How do you really nurture that customer? So yes, I want you to think about the customer journey and how they interact with your brand or your business or your product, whatever, in those 4 phases. So an example that I brainstormed that I hope most people have had an interaction with that we can sort of talk about in this journey is purchasing a vehicle. So you might identify that you have a need to buy a car. Maybe your family is growing, maybe you're buying a new business and so you need a vehicle to do that. Maybe your current vehicle it's like sucks, is breaking down. Like my example was moving home to Dryden. I'm considering buying a vehicle right now because I've lived in cities my whole life. I've never owned a car. I haven't had to. And now I'm in a community where, you know, I can only bum rides for my boyfriend for so long before it's like, hope you got to get your own car. So a need presents itself. And so then I'm made aware of this need. And so I start, okay, well, where can I buy a car? Luckily for us, we've got dealerships that I can drive by. That's the awareness piece. They've got a big sign out front like, oh, I'm made aware that there's a Ford dealership here. I'm made aware that there's a GMC Chrysler. And so I have this awareness. Maybe I see a post on social media. Oh, awareness. This is how I'm learning about what my options are here in town. So that's the first sort of phase, awareness. Then I'm going into my consideration mode. Okay, so maybe I'm doing some online research, like best SUVs in Canada. Like, I don't know, but I'm online, I'm researching. I'm asking my dad, like, what's a good car? Like, because I'm not knowledgeable in this space. So I'm having to really do my research. Maybe I'll go take a couple test drives. Maybe I'll see what my different experiences were like at the different dealerships. Maybe I'll go into one dealership and not have a great customer experience. Maybe the salesman like sloughs me off because he doesn't or she doesn't think that I'm that serious, whatever, and I have a poor experience versus going to another dealership and being really taken care of and treated with a lot of respect. And so maybe I'm swayed. Like, I wasn't considering this before, but maybe I'd like to support you and your dealership and your family. These are all very important factors that go into the consideration phase. And these are all marketing tactics. The customer service, the test drive, the sampling, all of this is all different marketing tactics that are woven into that consideration phase. So that's like a really important piece. You're convincing them. But then the time comes for me to make a decision, or if you've had to make a decision as to where you're going to buy your car from, maybe somebody's offering 0% financing for X amount of years. And I'm sitting there being like, well, like I'm a young entrepreneur and I'm like looking at starting a family. Like money is really important to me right now. Saving my money is really important to me. And being able to not pay interest for X amount of years, that might be a determining factor in making me pull the trigger. And that promotion is a marketing tactic, right? So there are so many different things that can push someone across the line, but then that's helped me make my decision. Okay, so I'm driving a Ford, I don't know. And so now that I've made my decision, what happens? Do they just like, woohoo, we got her money, like, and forget about me? No, ideally they're like, listen, this probably isn't going to be the last vehicle this person buys. They probably have family that they're going to go and share this experience with. They might write a review on our Google reviews, whatever. So they're nurturing the lead. They're checking in with me. If my vehicle breaks down and I have to take it in there to get it fixed or whatever, they're being, really respectful. And how's it going? How's the new car? The beautiful thing about, our small town too, is you might bump into your customers at the grocery store. These are all little touch points that you have the opportunity to really nurture your leads. So I also worked in customer service for many years. And one of the things that I did was I worked on beauty counters selling makeup in beauty halls, they were called, like when you go into a mall and there's a bunch of ladies standing there at their respective counters. I was one of those girls, and I worked for Estee Lauder. And they had the most incredibly mapped out customer journey. Everything from something that I personally really loved was the packaging. After we would take someone through a consultation where I'm doing testing their skin, trying the product, what does that feel like for you? Really having an immersive customer experience with them. Then if they made a purchase, I would make them a little profile of like, okay, this is what they bought. I would package up their, their products that they'd purchased so that when they got home and got to unbox their, skincare, makeup, that was a whole extension of the experience and something really lovely for them to have at home. And then what we did is I had a 30-day callback where I would call my customers and ask, how are you finding the product? Have you had an opportunity to test it out consistently? Are you enjoying it? Are you not? If you're not, that's totally fine. Bring it back and let's find you a new one. No cost to you. Just come on in and like that nurturing. And man, we did so many sales, but I know that it was just because of this like beautiful journey and people would come back and refer their friends to me and blah, 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 blah. So that's just an example, if that makes sense, of the journey in real life.
And the journey, excuse me, even if you are not selling a product, if you're selling a service, that journey is the same, right?
Yeah.
It's keeping your customers, keeping yourself forefront in your customers' minds.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, an example that I'd originally actually written down, because when I was going through the process, I'm like brainstorming a million different examples to share with you guys. And one that I thought of, but I nixed it because I didn't feel like it was super relevant. But there are such things, they're called SaaS companies, which stands for software as a service. So like an example of a SaaS company that I was going to share with you guys is like Spotify. If any of you guys use Spotify for listening to music, every year they put out something called Spotify Wrapped, which is a personal playlist just for you that their algorithm like cooks up in a hot sec. It's like, doesn't take them, well, they've had to code the whole thing, so it has taken them a lot of work. But now that they've got this system, they feed you a playlist of your most listened music, and they tell you like who your top band was, how many minutes you listened, blah, blah, blah. And then they give it to you in a way that's highly shareable on your social media. So they are giving you a free gift, based on their data collection. And, people can be music snobs and they love to share who they're listening to and all of this kind of thing. It really brings people together. It creates a sense of community. So they get to turn around and share it. And that's all, everyone who's doing that is saying, hey, I use this product. I know people that have, so many people. Spotify used to be a client of mine at one of the advertising agencies I worked at. That was like one of their biggest customer acquisition tactics because people wanted to jump on that bandwagon of getting their Spotify Wrapped and getting this data about themselves. And that's just, again, a tactic of how they nurture their existing leads. Hey, we're going to give you a gift, but then also a customer acquisition tactic of a like, hey, join the cool club and like get your Spotify Wrapped every year too. So yeah, again, just if there's one thing I can encourage you guys all to take away from this is to think of the customer journey before you try to figure out using a marketing tactic, before you head to Instagram and try to like make a post. Think about what part of the journey am I with my customer? And is this the right way for me to be spending my time and effort? Or is there something else I should be considering? Because maybe you have like an amazing product, but nobody's aware of you. So if you're missing the awareness piece, or maybe you're not doing enough to nurture that lead and really convince people to buy your product, you're going straight from awareness to, hey, buy my product, and you've missed that consideration piece. These are just important things to consider. So yeah, that's kind of part one of this presentation. So I'll pause to see if anybody has any questions or if somebody wants to share their own example of like a great time that they went through the customer journey. Okay, all good. Okay, so, oh,
It's okay. I'm just trying to get to the buttons. I'm not used to this Microsoft way. It's different.
All good.
I'm just thinking about this one lady that wanted a commission of a painting. And so she wanted me to imagine her landscape without the house there. So pre-build. I'm like, okay. So that we had to go for a kayak and we kayaked the shoreline and the surrounding area. And I got to learn and take lots of pictures of the different areas. So I got to reimagine how it would have looked before she built the house and took all the trees down. That was really cool. And then, since then we kind of became a friendship because now it's like we have this commonality of kayaking. And I love that. I like that a lot. Anyway.
Well, it's amazing in this area, we do have the opportunity for our customers to become our friends. Like that's a whole level of loyalty that we have as an advantage to us. And that's definitely something that you can use to your advantage, as a business person, for sure. Thank you for sharing that, Jen.
Okay.
Okay. So if it's okay, I'll keep rolling. Okay, so then how does this all translate into marketing? That's kind of the next phase of this. And I'm going to take you guys through a bunch of different examples of tactics. And again, like I said, some of these tactics we will really drill in on some of our following breakfast clubs. But how does this turn into marketing? So again, if you're considering the customer journey, that's a really beautiful model for us to be always thinking through. But when you're, again, trying to drill in on your tactics and how you're going to utilize them, we need to start thinking like marketers. And so when you're doing that, I've just put here 4 things that you should always be really considering. So the first of which is, who are your ideal customers? Sometimes people will have a hard time with that because they're like, well, everybody, like I want everyone to buy my product. And yeah, fair, that's great. But we need to be able to have an idealized customer so that we know how we're going to tailor our messaging and who we're going to be talking to. So I always invite people to go through what's called like a persona exercise. Tell me, who is like your ideal customer? What do they like? What do they look like? What other brands are they shopping from? What is their lifestyle? And so, and even like in the example of, well, I want everybody to be my customer. It's like, so for example, coffee. You might be sitting there being like, I sell coffee and everyone drinks coffee for the most part. So my customers might be an 18-year-old, student, or might be a 60-year-old person gearing up for retirement. Like it's, yes, you have multiple customers, but even within a category as broad as coffee, are you an artisanal roastery that is targeting someone who is, a bit more dialed in and looking for that artisanal product? Or are you Tim Hortons and you are really all about convenience? Yes, you want to have good coffee, but you're really more trying to get it to them quickly and efficiently. Those 2 examples, you're just trying to take your broad categories and really drill in who it is that you're talking to. So that's always, whether I'm taking someone through a marketing exercise or a branding exercise, I will really force people to who is your target customer. It just allows the rest of the marketing, specifically your messaging, to get a bit clearer.
A 10-year-old child is not going to be one of your target markets. So don't advertise in the schools.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough. Yeah, parents, not kids.
Yeah.
The next piece is your value proposition. So this is like in one sentence or in a few words, why you? What are you selling? What makes you so great? So like an example I thought of was like Dove soap, for instance. You might say sensitive skin, you might say affordable, and you might say like has stood the test of time, a legacy brand. So if that's, you know, what the value proposition pieces are going to be for Dove, it's really important to think about, like, what are your value propositions as your business or your product, and really try to figure out what those things are, because those are the things that you're going to really look at highlighting, especially when you're in that consideration phase of the customer journey. Customer emotions. So this is like a passion point for me, because it's what my degree was in, like the promotion and imaging master's degree that I did was so much about really trying to get into the heads and the hearts of your consumers and figure out what motivates them. I'm actually currently doing a second master's degree in counseling psychology right now. And I just find psychology really interesting. And it's, again, my marketing background is coming in so clutch for my current degree, because I'm like, I already understand how people's brains work and what motivates them, because the two are so part and parcel. So really take a minute to think about, how do you want your brand or product to make them feel? If you're trying to make your customer feel like a badass and like really cool, that's going to be very different than trying to make someone feel luxurious or like they have high status. Or that's going to be different than very trusted and wise. These are all different sort of archetypes or emotions that you want to be able to kind of think about, like, how am I trying to make my customer feel? Because those are going to be different things. I think a big one for people in this area, especially for people who work in tourism, are things like taken care of, or like people have an exclusive experience, like you're not getting this anywhere else type thing. So if those are the emotions that you're trying to tap into, like the care, but also exclusivity, you want to be able to tailor your marketing around some of these things. And then the last piece is the channels or tactics. And we're going to drill into that a bit more in a second. But like I said, as you go through each phase of the customer journey, there's going to be different tactics that you are going to tap into. And these things can be moved around, they're interchangeable, but this is the tactics piece. Combining it with the customer journey is where you're going to want to get strategic. The last piece before we dive into the tactics that I just want to highlight is to also really think about the customer journey in the shape of a funnel. Literally, you are capturing a wide group in your sense of awareness. Again, think of Ford having their sign on the highway. Tons of people are driving past that. So the awareness piece is that initial catch point. And then as you're considering, it's drilling in more and more, you're getting more narrow. And then by the time you reach sort of the tip of the funnel, that's your decision piece, where then people come through the funnel and that you've made your sale. So just also when you're thinking about like how many people you're reaching and the engagement, think of it in the shape of a funnel, that you're ultimately trying to move people down the funnel and out the bottom. I just like that analogy because it, again, exemplifies sort of the journey. Okay, does anybody have any questions about sort of those marketing pieces that I just mentioned? The understanding your target audience, understanding your value proposition, discussing consumer emotions, and then channels and tactics, which we're going to dive into in a second here. But does anybody have anything? Is there something in the chat, Shen? Or
Len had to leave.
okay, all good. Bye, Len. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
Okay, all good. Okay, so I'll pause for one more sec if anybody has anything. Otherwise, I'll just keep on.
Well, let me run this one by you. So when you're talking about like the value proposition, when I'm thinking about like Hojo's, what three of the key themes that come into mind are, you know, healthy, party, made to order. You know, so that people know that we're different from, you know, McDonald's or A&W or anywhere where you get like your burger and fries, because we don't sell that, right? We sell your homemade soups and sandwiches, and we make them right in front of you. And so is that kind of what you're thinking, like that, those catchphrases that define or demonstrate how you differ from everybody else, kind of thing?
So your value proposition doesn't have to be anything that's public facing. It doesn't have to be like a tagline, if that's what you mean. It's more like, what are the things that will make someone, like, imagine there was another business right next to you that is of a similar nature. What is going to convince them to come into you over them? Maybe you have like a really cozy, homey atmosphere that you are, you know, people love to be within. And so you can sort of promote that piece, like, come, you'll feel so good in this space. Stay, have a coffee. Or maybe you're like the Tim Hortons model where it's like, we are going to get you in and out of this place fast. So you don't have to, like, so maybe the convenience, if the made to order piece is something that you're really trying to drill home, like, just walk by, grab your lunch for the day and keep on keeping on. Maybe that convenience piece is something that you want to highlight, but more of these value propositions are things that you recognize internally are the things that really set you apart, so that when you're marketing or you're creating messaging, you're able to sort of pepper that in there, that like, this is what makes us so great. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
I'm just hoping our competitors close soon.
Oh.
I know they're trying to sell their business and they're asking quite a bit, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, that's always nice when that happens. Yeah, but no, so that's a good question, because yeah, this doesn't like understanding your target audience as well, like, doesn't ever have to be something that's public facing. In most cases, it's absolutely not, because you don't want to ostracize somebody or make some, you know, specific demographic feel unwelcome. But it's more for your knowledge to say like, okay, our target consumer is, this is, you know, you literally create a persona. It's Brad. He's buying a truck. He like listens to country music. He whatever, like, you create a persona. So then when you are targeting your marketing, you are embodying this persona. That doesn't mean that like Mary, who is also looking for a truck, you know, isn't going to, that your messaging is not going to appeal to her. You know, it's just being able to have a target in mind to help you focus more than anything, and to create tailored messaging. Okay, so let's get into tactics a little bit here, and I want to make sure that the floor is open. If at one point we talk about a tactic that you're like, what is that? How might I do that? We can either have a sort of public forum talking about it here, or if it's something that you want to pull me aside for later to get a bit more specific into your business, we can do that too. So I've broken down the different tactics, and this isn't an exclusive list. There are way more marketing tactics than what's written here, but these are just sort of the most common ones. And I've bucketed them into the different phases of the consumer journey, so that you can sort of imagine how they would work in practice. So first things first, we're in the awareness phase. You are trying to build awareness about your product or your brand. So what are some of the tactics that you're going to be looking at? Some common ones are search engine optimization. So you are optimizing your website. And again, there are many different ways to do this, and we can have a whole sidebar conversation on SEO if that's of interest to you. But you are optimizing your website so that when somebody goes on Google and they type in Art Dryden or like Abattoir Dryden or whatever, your business is at the very top of the list. And so there are ways that you can, like I said, optimize your website so that it, as far as the search engine goes, it is at the top of the list. And that's a really important thing for awareness, because consumer behavior shows that people aren't going on Google and searching page after page after page after page. People want their information right now. So you want to be on that first page of Google, or Bing or whatever it is that you use, but you want to be on that first page. So that's a way that you could invest in the awareness of your business.
Well, so sometimes when you're searching something, local meat Dryden, you'll see where things say sponsored.
Yeah.
So when they're sponsored, they rank higher. Is that how it works?
They've paid for that. So that's an ad placement, which is what I've got next here.
Okay.
So great segue.
Sorry.
So the ad placements, yeah, like again, I'm sure you're all fed constantly ads on social media. I know for me, like I get frustrated on social media because I get fed more ads than I even do content from like friends and family. And so for me, that I'm like, this isn't why I'm on these apps. I want to like see what my friends are up to, not get, convinced I need to buy some beauty product. But social media ads work, and social and advertisements is why none of us pay for those apps. That's how they pay the bills. So you got to consume some ads if you're going to use Facebook and Instagram and not pay for it. So, but same thing on Google, you can pay to have your search listing sponsored, bumped to the top. So what you're doing in that case is you're purchasing keywords. So if people are typing in local meat, Dryden or Northwestern Ontario or whatever, you, like the abattoir, for instance, could, if you say there were like 10 abattoirs and there was a lot of competition for you, you could go and purchase those keywords so that you would end up at the top of the list every time. Yeah, so that is a thing. And it's interesting, when you are looking at your own SEO or your own search engine optimizations, you kind of have to go past the sponsored piece, obviously, like unless you yourself are going to start paying for that kind of thing. But yeah, so scroll down, see where you rank, and if you're falling on pages 2, 3, 4, like whatever, know that your awareness is, you're just missing out on that piece. And then, yeah, the ads piece, obviously you can pay to get in front of people's faces and do a targeted ad. Influencer marketing. So this is something, partnerships are a way that I personally really like to raise awareness, because you are, by working with other people, so whether that's doing a partnership with another business, which is, we're going to have a whole separate breakfast club on partnerships, because they are so effective in you being able to reach an entirely new audience. So you either pay an influencer, so an influencer being someone with high social following, to talk about your product for you, or you partner with another brand and do a collaboration, like, I don't know, 2 businesses in town that maybe you wouldn't think would partner up together, but come together and create a collaboration product or an event or something like this. All of a sudden, they're marketing for each other's communities now. And so that's increasing your awareness and your reach. So partnerships are a really big piece.
So I heard you and I are on the same boat. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're all good.
Neither. I got an email that I just opened from 8:30 this morning that said it's at 8:30, but all the rest said 9:30, which I thought was really weird. But
Oh, odd.
I got multiple that said that, so I didn't question it.
Okay.
It's so
We'll have to look into what that was.
Apologize.
No.
I am so
I
sorry.
went and treated myself to breakfast, so I'm like, oh, I got an hour to go here. It's so good. It's so good. Okay.
We're just talking about, so just to recap very quickly, we were talking about the customer journey. So when you are working, or you're working to acquire or make a sale, you're taking customers through a journey. So you're starting off with raising awareness about your business. Then you are hopefully, once they're aware, they go into the consideration phase where they're learning about you, considering your product. Then they go into the decision-making phase, which is they buy your product, and then you take them into the post-purchase experience, which is nurturing the relationship, etc. So what we're doing right now is going through those 4 different phases that I just said, and talking about the different marketing tactics that fall under those buckets. So where we were at was for the awareness phase. Public relations is also an opportunity to raise awareness. Public relations is a little bit hard here in Dryden because we don't have a lot of press, but like in Sioux Lookout, for instance, there's the newspaper. It's just looking for different press voices, whether that's radio, newspaper, magazine. Sometimes it's like announcement boards, different things like this that you can sometimes pay. You can pay people to write about you. That's called an advertorial, or you just ask them nicely and pitch them. Can you please raise awareness about my event or my product, or let them know that I'm opening a new store, or like blah, 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 whatever. And then they will raise awareness for you. That's public relations. Did you have a question? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to give you a couple examples.
Sure.
Like at Hojo's recently, I think it was last week, we hosted an Alzheimer's fundraiser.
Great.
So they actually advertised for us
Awesome.
and had us on their posters. And basically every dollar or a dollar from every copy that was sold that day is donated to Alzheimer's.
Perfect.
We've also sponsored a couple activities in the Kenora areas. And again, every time we sponsor a local activity, like there was the Witches Walk around Halloween there when we were first starting up. And so again, we get put on their posters as a sponsor, and they advertise for us.
Yeah.
And it shows not only are we getting this free advertising, but it shows that we're a community player, which also has a benefit in and of itself.
Totally. No, I love that because so even in what you just mentioned, there's so the next tactic for the awareness piece is local community events. And so, yes, you're raising awareness by having an event, but then you're also weaving in a partnership. So, okay, now we're getting reach to these other communities because you're doing an event, you can tap public relations. You can talk to local media. Would you please cover this event? Would you share what's going on? So you can see how from one thing that you're doing, there are all of these different tactics that you can blossom out. And while that is awareness, there might also be somebody who is already aware of Hojo's that now that they see that you're a community player, now they're actually really considering coming to your business. They're like, you know what? I've been meaning to go in there. And so this is really pushing me across the line. And then they come in, they see a product that you've got that they want. Now you have a customer.
And so put it in the Dryden context. I mean, we're always pushing to shop local. Well, they're more likely to shop local if they know the local is supporting local.
Yeah. Yeah. Kevin and I, my partner and I were talking about this morning, when I was talking about the car example. I used the example earlier of purchasing a vehicle and going through this journey. And Kevin was mentioning about how he's I know the Dingwall family. And so for me, that makes me feel inclined to go and see what they've got going on over there. And he was also talking about how he's and I know when I walk in there, they will greet me by name. They will, remember details of my life and ask about, how's your partner? How's this? How's that? And all of those things are so important to nurturing. Either you're in the consideration phase or you're nurturing a post-purchase. Yeah, those are all good examples.
And Nikki, you do an amazing job at that. I'm going to call it the wrong thing. Sorry, Hope, but joint advertising or whatever. So you carry a lot of other local businesses, not just in the Dryden area, in the surrounding area. And so you also advertise, hey, I've got this new thing, this new product, come and check out, and you give that business the plug.
Yeah.
And so I'm referring to Ohe Ceramics as
Mhm.
well, right? So you're getting more bang for your buck because it's going through your channels. She's also doing the same thing. You're reaching more people.
Yeah.
So you do that very, very well.
Thank you. The other thing, just, I didn't realize I did, but just what you just said was like knowing your customer base. Like I can have people come in and go, oh, my son loves your candles, but I don't know what scent he likes. And I'll be like, oh, it's this one. And then they're like, wow, thank you. You know, like, it's so good that I'm small enough that I can still do that. I'm nervous for growing for that because I love that piece of it, but
Yeah.
you know,
No, we were talking about that with, that's like the post purchase, like that customer retention piece. If you can, like I used the example when I worked at Estee Lauder. So yes, a huge company. And I saw so many clients all the time and I would remember them, but not always maybe remember every single product that they'd ever purchased. But we had little customer profiles
Yeah.
and it detailed, it literally, like you would put in personal details, like daughter's graduating high school or like whatever, so that you could say to them, like, your daughter graduated.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you remember that? Oh yeah. You know, these
Yes.
things, oh my gosh, go such a far way. And they make you feel good. Like as the business person, to be really building an authentic connection with your customers. Yeah, it makes it all feel way more fulfilling.
My colleague at Hojo's, because she's there every day, she knows all the regulars by name.
Perfect.
I go in and just say hi because I'm there once a week, so.
Yeah.
No,
But
that's
she-
huge.
She knows everybody by name. She hasn't seen them in a day or two. She'll be like, are you okay? Everything,
Where were you yesterday?
making sure that nothing's wrong, because, some of them are older folks
Right.
too, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes it feel, gives a very homey atmosphere.
Mhm. Mhm.
And people enjoy that. They enjoy being able to go in and just chat, not just with each other, but with her as well,
Mhm.
Mhm.
No, that stuff is all marketing. Like it genuinely is. It is what translates into word of mouth. It is what translates into positive customer experiences. Like that stuff is all really important. She could not take the time to learn people's names and not give a shit. Like she could. That's an option. But the fact that she doesn't do that, it makes a really big difference. So no, that stuff is all very, very important. Okay, the consideration phase. So people are aware, you've done some things. Maybe you put out a social media ad, maybe you got a thing in the paper about your new business, whatever. People have been made aware that you exist. So now, how do you get them to consider maybe actually buying what you're selling? So this is where we start to get in a bit more deeper. You're offering a bit more information and now you're getting a little bit more salesy, but really you're just getting more educational. So this is where you have the opportunity to maybe, if you've gotten their email, you can start sending them more details. What's so great about your product? Are you a family-owned business? What are the different selling points? Again, going back to those value propositions that we talked about earlier, what are the most important value propositions that you can start feeding to these people so that they're considering you more? If you're sophisticated with your social media advertising, you can do something called retargeting ads, which are where the data collected on the back end via people who have engaged with your ad, they're going to see it again. So maybe you guys have seen this for yourself where you watch an ad, or maybe you don't even realize it's an ad and you catch yourself watching something on social media that's an advertisement. And then all of a sudden you're getting fed it like day in and day out, or you're getting competitors feeding you the same. You're like, what the hell? Like I just watched this one ad and now I'm being inundated with this. But it's because you've been targeted and retargeted because you gave them some of your watch time. So retargeting is a big one. Customer reviews and testimonials. If you are not currently badgering your existing customers for testimonials and reviews, start doing that. Get yourself a Google business profile if you don't have it. Get yourself a Facebook page if you don't have it, and ask for reviews. Don't like as an entrepreneur, there's no space to be like quiet and humble. Ask for it. It will make such a big difference for your business if somebody goes on and sees a bunch of positive reviews. As far as that consideration piece, that might be the thing that sways them. You know, they might read a review about someone who had a skin concern that they're like, I have that concern too. And this product worked for them. Like, oh my God, that might be the difference maker.
Most of my reviews come through Square.
Sure.
So when people choose to get a receipt sent,
Mhm.
some of them will choose to respond, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But that it's hard. I practically beg some days, please give me a review.
Yeah. Oh, and
Like,
they're
I'm uncomfortable with it.
yeah. People are weird about it, but I try to make an effort to leave reviews for people. It can be time consuming or whatever, but especially like us all as entrepreneurs and business owners, the least we can be doing is support each other. If we've had a genuine experience, don't fluff reviews. Like, I'm not saying to do that, but go and leave reviews on businesses if you've enjoyed what they've done. But yeah, the reviews and testimonials piece, highlight them on your website, make sure that you're taking advantage of all of the different social media platforms that have review functionalities. That's all very important. Case studies. So if you can share a success story on your website of, you know, somebody, so this is a little bit different than a review because it's coming from you rather than the customer, but you're maybe sharing a success story of somebody who came in with a particular, so for your bookkeeping business, you might be able to say, so-and-so came in, or maybe anonymous client came in and their books were a mess. They started a business 5 years ago and they'd actually never properly done bookkeeping. So I'm having to do this big catch up and clean up exercise with them. We got through that. It took us about 4 months to get there. And now they've got a bookkeeping system and I meet with them monthly and they're on track and their business is like, their stress levels are down and their business is doing better and they're sending out invoices on time, like whatever are the success metrics. But you go ahead and tell that little story. And again, some other entrepreneur that hasn't done their books in however many years sees that and is like, I'm going to get in touch with her. That's definitely my situation. And I need that help too. You know,
Examples, like you read through my client list.
oh, believe me, we see it here day in and day out. And that's super fair. Like the things that always get put on the back burner are marketing, which is why we're emphasizing this series, and bookkeeping, because it's hard and tedious and you have to learn all these new software programs and it's not fun. Like it's not like some people maybe are itching to do their finances. Many are not. And so these things get put on the back burner month over month over month, and then it becomes a mountain, and then it's the last thing you want to look at. And yeah, it happens.
Lean towards what you're comfortable doing. As a
Absolutely.
business owner, you are everything. You are janitor, you are bookkeeper, you are marketing, you are manufacturer. Like, so you will do the things that you enjoy doing. And all of those other pieces are just as important. An accountant doesn't start a beauty line business. Typically, an accountant starts an accounting business, right? So, but those other aspects can get you into trouble just as quickly. And for a business owner to make informed decisions, especially when you're looking at expanding, you have to have that financial picture to be able to make those decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, unfortunately, you have to be a master at everything and try and juggle it all like within a 23-hour work day because I give you an hour to sleep.
Well,
There
not
you
just
go.
that.
You're
In-
so generous.
Thanks.
In general, it's a lot easier to get somebody else's work stuff done than it is your own. And I can say this with all confidence because with my clients, no problem. I'll get up to date on them. I am about 3 months behind on my own billing. So like, this just goes to show, like, even as a business owner in of myself, I'm so far behind in
Mhm.
doing my own accounting that
Yeah.
it's gonna take a bit to get caught up.
Which is sometimes why it's worth, even you as a bookkeeper might be worth you hiring a bookkeeper to do your stuff for you, even though you're like, and this is, I think, a trap that a lot of us fall into where it's like, oh, I can just do it. I know how, I will do it. But it's like, yeah, okay, but you're not. So hire someone else to do it for you.
Super cheap.
Yeah, yeah. If,
Just saying.
It's frugal.
It's frugal.
well, that's a huge part of it.
No one is cheap. You are frugal. Yes.
But that is fair. If you can't afford to hire somebody, that's
Or you're
fair.
Or you're just cheap.
Or you're
Like just straight up.
You're just starting out.
You can come up with all the nice terms you want. I'm freaking cheap and I don't want to pay people.
That's fair. Balances, right? What do you want to
I
prioritize?
would consider that dedicated and focused and, you know,
Insane.
well,
She's like me, but she owns her business.
I
I don't know mine.
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay, free samples and trials. Again, free samples are something that Nikki does great. And my parents, for instance, were straight converts because of the samples we brought home one day. What is this soap? It smells so good. Da, da, da. Then I'm in there buying them full-size products.
Your dad comes in.
Yeah, yeah. Then, but that's the thing, right? Like samples can go such a long way. I can't tell you how many times I've been in Costco and they've given me some sample of some random thing that I literally didn't even know existed. And now all of a sudden I like have to have it because I tried some sample, and that's how they get you. And so sampling is great. It's a great tactic. When I had my supplement company, something that we always did, and every time that we sent someone an order, we sent them a sample that was, and we put on it either share this with a friend, give this to a loved one, someone who you think would benefit from our product, or just keep it for yourself. Like, we don't have to like do whatever you want. And people loved that. It converted so many new customers for us, just that little freebie every single time. Comparison guides. So I put this in here. An easy example is that if you shop on Amazon, you might find that, say you're looking at a lamp, or I don't know, you're buying something on Amazon, you scroll down and they will show you similar products and some, you know, comparable metrics like price. I don't know, in the case of lamps, it might be like material it's made out of, or wattage, or like these types of things. But those comparison guides are a big part of the consideration phase, because you are comparing, like, where do I want to buy my soap? Where do I want to get my vehicle? What bank do I want to bank at? Like, you're comparing all these different
Is
products.
there legalities to that? Because like I wanted to do that, but I'll do a comparison like without naming a brand. Because like I'd love to do like a straight comparison to like Lush or whatever, which
Mhm.
people really turn to when thinking of like bath bombs and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But then I was like, I don't know,
I don't
legally wise.
So I don't believe that legally there's a problem with
Mhm.
that. Like, I don't think someone's gonna come and like sue you. But more so, I guess it's just kind of up to you. Some people might consider that in poor taste.
Mhm.
So I don't know, maybe it might be illegal. I don't know. I don't think that it's illegal. I've seen it done a million times.
As long as it's all, you're pulling information that's all in the public domain,
Yeah.
you can do it.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. Plus, I also like, for me, it's like bad taste, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh, this major brand of like homemade bath bombs has 20 ingredients where mine has 8. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's.
You can always like just put the comparison up and then let the consumer decide for themselves what they want. You could show me your shampoo bar and then one from Lush, one from whomever else, like have them all lined up and show like scent, whatever options, ingredient list, price points. They might have a cheaper bar than you.
Mhm.
So in that context, maybe people are being swayed to Lush.
Yeah.
So you can always put up a chart and let people decide for themselves, like what, And then you're not slandering them.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm worried about.
You're just giving them the information.
No, as long as you're straight up, just, key facts,
Mhm.
no opinion, there's nothing they can do.
Mhm.
Because anybody can do that independently, like,
Yeah,
you're
Yeah.
just
helping them out,
helping them
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
getting them the information faster.
which people like.
Yeah.
And so that's like a good conversion tool to be like, I'm gonna make your job easier.
Especially with ingredients, because some people may like, Lush may be cheaper, but they may have an ingredient in there that somebody doesn't like, whereas yours, yeah, it's a little more expensive, but you don't have that ingredient, so we'll go with they're willing to pay that little bit extra because of what's in it. So
Yeah,
doing those comparisons, definitely a good thing. And as long as all the information is available in the public domain, which means anybody can go on the website, on another website and get it, you're not doing anything wrong.
and promote, so again, because right now, especially what's going on with the new president in the United States, the uncertainty of Canada, right now, that Canadian made is huge,
Yeah.
right? People are getting behind this again. COVID did it.
The
Shop
postal site did it.
local, yes. So if your ingredients in everything that you're making are Canadian, promote the crap out of that. Well,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
right? And, again, if locally made, like all of those things, sometimes people make decisions based on ethics and
They do a lot of the time.
what's important to them. It's not always price point, right? And I'm just gonna, what is this little thing? Hang on. I gotta find it on my, is it Yuki?
Oh, I know what you're talking.
Oh, that app.
Where everybody is scanning products now, and it tells you if it's good or if it's a chemical disaster, right? And you can do it with everything. And so they're looking for those alternatives. If you somehow have the ability where your products will scan, and not everything does, but that's becoming more and more, people are becoming more and more aware of that, what they're putting into their body or on their bodies, right?
Yeah, oh, that's huge. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a huge increase. Actually.
yes.
Yeah.
Where probably even 10 years ago, well, okay, let's say 15, people didn't even consider that, right?
No,
So
absolutely.
just, anything, especially like I said, right now, a lot of people are getting behind that shop Canada. It's made in Canada, support Canada.
That again, like goes back to the idea of a value proposition. What sets you apart and makes you different? And so again, if you have a particular value proposition, that is the thing that you want to be shouting from the rooftops, whatever that is, when you're in that conversion phase, when you are really trying to get someone, the consideration phase, when you're really trying to get someone to buy into what you're selling. So yeah, if locally made is a value prop, amazing. If whatever as few ingredients as possible is a value prop, amazing. If phthalate free, chemical free, B Corp certified, whatever, all of these things are a value prop for you, amazing. Like get that in there. Because then when people get to the decision phase, so we'll look at, they've considered, they're really, they're picking up what you're putting down. They're into it. Now you're going to slam them with like some kind of a tactic to get them to make the purchase and buy. And so these examples here are things that I'm sure we've all encountered and have maybe been deciding factors for us. So a limited time offer, express urgency, this deal is today and today only. If you want it, like, you got to act now. Bundle deals. So again, just different ways at looking at promotions. What are ways that you can offer different discounts, different buy one, get one, like these types of things. Have a clear call to action. So that is just straight up telling them what you want them to do. Subscribe. Like, you're interested in what I'm doing, subscribe to my newsletter. That's getting them to make a decision. Or I'm trying to think of like another check or another CTA that isn't like buy now. There's subscribe, join our community, follow us on social media. These are all just different call to actions to keep them on the journey, flowing through the funnel of your business. Simplify your checkout process. So if that is an online checkout process, an example, for instance, that we tested and tried in my previous supplement business was free shipping versus not free shipping. So we were looking at offering, so the two things that we tested were a lower price on the product, but you paid for shipping, so it came out to be the same, or all in cost, but you offered free shipping. So they're paying the same regardless at the end of the day. We found when we offered free shipping, sales increased. And so we kind of evaluated why. There's the point that people like to feel like they're getting a deal. So free shipping, even though they weren't, whatever, that's, neither here nor there. They felt like they were getting a deal. But the other piece was that we would notice people would put stuff in their cart. They would spend a lot of time on our website. Like, we'd have this data to see, oh my gosh, they're reading the blog posts, they're reading like detailed descriptions that other people have like left. We had amazing customer reviews. Like, people would write us stories of what our products had done for them. And you'd see people were reading them. It was amazing. And then they would get to the checkout, realize they had to pay for shipping, and leave. And so it was just interesting to look at, they met sort of like a fork in the road. The consumer experience for them was disrupted when they thought, oh, now I have to pay like $6 more, and they left. And so when you're considering your customers' flow and checkout, make it as smooth and easy breezy as possible for them so that they never have an opportunity to second guess or question whether they actually want what you're selling.
Just a question about that,
Mhm.
because this is where I'm trying to merge into online this year. That's
Yeah.
my main goal by the end of this year.
Amazing.
So I love the idea of free shipping, but like, how does that look compared to like store prices versus like website prices? Is that?
You might have to raise your prices across the board. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what
Because you raise your prices across the board, but you let people know that if they shop in store, it's tax free. Or like something like this, you incentivize people in another way to make it make sense. I know, like, the tricky thing that we had, we only shipped within Canada for my business, but shipping to the Yukon versus shipping somewhere in Southern Ontario was a very different
Yeah.
price point.
Yes.
We just selected a flat rate.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that we put against everything, knowing that we were going to actually make money on shipping for some of our more, closer, whatever folks. And we were going to lose on the guy who's in the Yukon that we're having to, spend like $20 on shipping his product. But it was just one of those, like, we watched the numbers and it all sort of came out in the wash. And so that was fine. But yeah, I would say, like, for consistency, you'll probably have to find a price. You'll probably have to do a bit of a pricing strategy and reevaluation to see what it should all be. And then maybe you just offer very exclusive promos only in store or at markets or whatever, which I know you do
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you might be looking at that. And then the last piece is loyalty incentives. So, you're part of the family now, or like, now that you're in, you're going to get all of these benefits for being, an exclusive customer of ours there. And that's where you see things like, and this kind of gets into the post-purchase stuff too, because loyalty is a big part of that. But by offering the opportunity to access these programs through the purchase, that might be the decision-making factor for them. And then, yeah, the post-purchase. So again, how are you nurturing this relationship? How are you making sure that this customer stays retained? You're following up with them. You are offering amazing customer support. So I'll give you an example from literally last week. I bought some stuff from Sephora. If it's not clear, I love makeup and beauty products. I talk about it so much. So I ordered some products from Sephora. My blush came, I had ordered a Benefit Cosmetics blush. It came smashed, literally like powder everywhere smashed. So I took a photo of it and I went on the Sephora app and I just went to their chat bot, customer service, was connected with a real human right away, which was so refreshing. Hey, here's a photo of my blush. It came smashed. Immediately, oh my gosh, we're so sorry, like empathized with me. How, like, that sucks so much when that happens. Like, we're so sorry. We hope that you, like, whatever, it's okay. And they immediately were like, no, we'll just send you a new one. And actually, here's a page. Go pick a couple free samples for yourself and we'll throw those in your order too. And so they sent me a whole new blush, sent me all these free samples, and it literally got here in like a couple days. I didn't have to do anything. But the fact that their customer service made that process so easy. I've had other customer services where they're like, well, can you send us a couple pictures? And how do we know that it got broke in the mail and you didn't just do, like, they're questioning you. And I'm like, screw you. Like, I hate that. That stuff turns me off so much. And if that was my experience with Sephora, I might then be like, you know what? I'm maybe less likely to buy from you in the future. I'll find somewhere else to buy my makeup. Like, that left a bad taste in my mouth. So figuring out that customer support piece, again, like for my previous company, we had a customer support Bible. It was like a thick book. When this problem happens, this is what you do. And if that isn't making sense, this is what you do. Or there were multiple tiers. And every single time we encountered a new problem, because they happen all the time, like packages go missing, someone is having a reaction, like whatever, you deal with the situation and then you log it and you capture it in this customer service Bible. And that was always sweet because then when we would hire new people, it was like, this book is going to save your life. And so, yeah, have a robust customer support program. Again, it might feel like a pain in the butt to have to like record these things and make note of them, but they, as you grow, really do make all the difference. Loyalty programs kind of goes without saying. You got a punch card, you got point systems, blah, 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 blah. People love it. You know, come to Hojo's 10 times and your 11th coffee is free. Like,
We do have the punch cards,
Mhm.
yes. So-
people love it. People love it. And it's easy and it's cheap and people have to spend money to access it. Like, it's, yeah, an easy one. Exclusive content. So again, maybe you're an online program and like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Patreon, but like Patreon is like an online portal where you can access exclusive content from creators, businesses, whatever. So for instance, one of my best friends is a music person. She streams on Twitch. She's a local girl here, Jordan Lane, and she has a Patreon account. It's $3 USD per month. So I subscribe to that, and she posts exclusive videos about her making her album, working behind the scenes, blah, 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 that I get to see because I subscribe to her Patreon, and only her Patreon subscribers get to do that. But so again, this is just how she's nurturing me as a fan of hers. I would be a fan of hers anyway because we're besties, but for these other people that don't know her personally, that is, you know, a big thing for her to be able to keep people engaged. Referral programs. So this is something else that we did at my previous business, that we had buy 12 or give 12, get 12. So if you gave your whoever, friend, your referral code and they made a purchase, they would get $12 off their purchase. You also got $12 added to your credit that you could either take out as real money. If you wanted your money, you could take it, or you could bank it and let it accumulate as much as you want and then use it towards our products. So we had that, like, because our products were supplements that were at a higher price point, people were sometimes like, this is like pretty expensive for me to be buying on a month-to-month basis. So we would be like, if you use this referral program, you can get $12 off. And so if you refer 2 people a month and they both make purchases, that's $24 off every month, which was like 50% of the cost of the supplement. So we had so many people doing that. And it was amazing for us because all of a sudden we have all these people out there that are doing our sales and bidding for us. So the referral program is a really good one. And then social media engagement. Again, this is free. Go on and find your customers, find other businesses in the community, whatever. Engage, be involved, get out there. People see you being this happy-go-lucky involved person, and it makes them feel attracted to you and makes them feel good about the fact that they support your business. So yeah, those are just some of the tactics, some marketing tactics. I know that was like a ton, and there are a ton more, but I hope that that gave everybody like some ideas of things that you can be thinking about as far as taking people through the customer journey and making sure that you have different marketing tactics employed at each one of those touch points so that you're really nurturing that relationship. The last thing, I just had 3 little tools and tips for success. One is to use data. So data might be, hey, I really like your packaging. Somebody just saying that to you. Or, hey, I had a really lovely like this chat was so informative. Thank you. Use all of this data. You can also get hard data from your social media platforms if you want to dig into the analytics and all that jazz. It's there for you. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but data and information is being fed to you constantly. Also, lack of information, like look for white space. If people are never commenting on your packaging, maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you could be doing more. So look for data. Be consistent. So making sure, again, this comes back to your value proposition, your branding, who your target audience is. Make sure that you have that stuff dialed in so that your messaging is always consistent. You're beating the same drum over and over and over again. It lets people know really clearly what they can expect from you. And to really nurture your relationships. If that's not abundantly clear from everything that I've just said, take care of people, treat your customers like family, and just, yeah, nurture your relationships. So that's the customer journey for everybody. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions online? So Hope, next month, what's up?
So next month, so the first sort of tactic, so there's 4 tactics that we're going to be diving into in the following series, but the next one is about your website. So even if you don't want to have a website, it is worth having just literally a landing page. And what I mean by a landing page is like a home page that just says your address, how to get in touch with you, you know, just the stuff that people are looking for. Again, because Google, if you think about consumer behavior, is where people are going to find out about what the heck is going on in their area. Same thing as Facebook. Like, think of Facebook as a search engine. They're going on there. So you want to have a website so that if somebody goes soap Dryden, you stand a chance of getting in front of them. So
the 20-year-old version of the yellow pages.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
That's where, before Google, we went to the phone book, to the yellow pages and looked up soap. Oh, and that's, right?
Sure.
I still remember doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
The struggle
We want to be young.
is, like, I have my website just complete crap. But anyways,
Oh.
we're gonna fix that. And
You want to compare crappy websites?
but it's like my struggle right now is because I've moved locations and like Google is not really good to get along with some days. Because it still has my old location. Like I've sent messages, I've like re-pinged my new business, whatever. But that move has been a huge thing for me and people Googling me. Right? Like, because I'll get people call me and they're like, they say you're on King Street, but this is like some beauty salon. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a struggle, like a personal struggle for me anyways, with Google, just in that respect.
I've had it before. I used to work for a cannabis, like one of the big cannabis companies, and we had a retail portfolio where we had a bunch of different stores across a bunch of different provinces. And we ran into that all the time too. And just consistently updating your business profile on Google over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It eventually works, but I feel your pain. That's not a fun process.
Our problem with our shop is it used to be Griffiths
Mhm.
and that still shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And the hours and the times and things for the store are all wrong.
Yeah.
I have repinged everything and tried to do ours, but people, because it's a small town
Mhm.
and everybody still knows it as Griffiths. They come
Yeah.
out and they call it Griffiths. It's just always going to be
Yeah.
Griffiths.
For some,
because it
yeah.
was since
And
the,
it's on Griffiths
and
Road.
it's on Griffiths Road. So
was-
Griffiths always pops up first
Mhm.
and
I-
ours is just poor.
When I moved, I was going to rebrand and like come up with a different name because I've moved from just selling soaps and stuff into more of a gift shop idea. And I put out a survey, should I do this? And everyone was like, absolutely not.
No.
And so it's like, oh, okay. So that's my next hurdle is also getting people to understand that I'm not just a soap shop anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of that comes down to your marketing.
Yeah.
And I would especially say like on the website piece and even for you guys, like if you have a website, being able to optimize your search engine piece. So really looking at like your blog, like if you keep a blog on it, all the keywords that you have embedded on your website. And that's like, again, a whole other science and like thing that we can get into.
Damn SEOs.
I know. I'm pretty sure I made one of the tactics for one of these things, search engine optimization. If I didn't, I'll make sure to talk lots about it in the website thing because I know that, and it's something that I get asked about all the time in here is search engine optimization.
Yeah, it's really, I've even gone to like websites that are like for optimizing your SEOs. They don't help. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much more clear I can be. Natural soap, like, you know what I mean? But I think too, like for me, my business is still really growing and emerging and it's still really like switching over to like, it's not just soap. Like I have a whole line, like I just introduced bar dish soap now,
Mhm.
right? And like there, it's a whole thing now, right? So it's not just, and that's where,
Mhm.
yeah, so.
Well, and I watched Hope, even with cases. So we're in the process of a new website, one that we can actually make changes to, which is like, oh my God. So I was also watching her. And again, I'm not a marketing, I'm not any of that. But my thought was, okay, you have these keywords on the homepage, but that's not
no.
it. It's got to be embedded.
Yeah.
And watching and asking a whole bunch
Yeah.
of dumb questions to Hope. And I learned so much about, so you know what? We'll keep plugging away at this, plugging away at it, plugging away at it. I thought with Google and these business directories, so if somebody pops up that isn't in business anymore, I thought you could send a message or report it or whatever and
We've done
eventually.
that.
They don't listen.
Okay.
You have to do it a lot.
Yeah.
Like you have to go on there and update it and flag these things and ask other people to report a problem a lot.
Yeah.
Like you have to make it a daily mission.
Like,
And it's very annoying.
because I've tried to get my dad's business, like Pizza Park,
Yep.
listed on there because right now it doesn't exist. If you were to Google Maps it, And I don't know how many times I've sent it in and it still hasn't gotten up there. And every time I send it in, it says, thank you, we got it, we will make
Yeah.
the changes, and then nothing happened.
I remember they still have the Starbucks up. It
Oh,
shows that Dryden has a
Right.
Starbucks, but it closed.
Which is heartbreaking for people who come in and want Starbucks and they go get beer.
Yeah, I've been told many a times that we have to open our Hojo's and Dryden, and I'm like, we haven't even been running an
Yeah.
entire year yet. Please let us get a
Yeah.
year under our belt first.
yeah, I'm sure.
So talking about marketing, I'm going to do a little shameless plug.
Do it.
There's only a few of us here, but if everyone shares, Friday is my 2-year anniversary of being open. And we are doing, I have Fadook's cupcakes that you could, if you come in, you can enjoy a cupcake. I'm also doing a choose your own discount
Nice.
on all purchases, including all items in the store. So that, plus I also just wanted to share that I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but it's Eating Disorder Week coming up February 8th that week. And if you tap into their social media, they're doing a like a social media blitz. And one of the things is like having a whiteboard or a mirror where you put positive quotes about yourself and then post it to self-love, like hashtag self-love or something like that. And a lot of people don't know about it. So I just wanted to share that because I just found out about it yesterday and will be participating.
Through the health unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the health units.
If anybody's heading to Kenora today at all, stop in Hojo's. My business partner and bestie for about 35 years now, it is her birthday.
Oh, nice.
And she is a Drydenite, originally from Dryden. So, anybody going that way, feel free to stop in, check to see what we have, and don't forget to wish her a very happy birthday.
And, of course, sing to her because that's part of it.
Oh, she'd love that. I can just imagine
All
the
of these
nasty
people
crowds
are
are
now heading to Hojo's to sing.
They're missing me at the PI because I'm the only one who thinks.
That's
So everybody goes, oh, here's your birthday cake. I'm like, come on, you guys.
So that's what I was trying to do during the presentation. I was trying to get it posted on Instagram to let our followers know, our Hojo followers know that it's her birthday and to wish her happy birthday.
I don't follow you on
Things
Instagram.
so we're on Instagram and Facebook, but right now we can't update Facebook because the previous owners couldn't remember the passwords, and I haven't figured out how to contact Facebook or Meta so I can get it.
Yeah, that's
done?
impossible.
Yeah.
You can't contact.
So I'm trying a couple different things here, trying to get it fixed so that we can get on there and update the hours and everything else because nothing's really right.
Yeah. Any questions from online? And again, if you guys have any specifics that you want to speak one-on-one with Hope, please reach out. Hope, thank you very much. This was very informative. And so next month will be the part 2 of this series. And I'm not sure what happened, why some of the marketings or some of the meeting things were showing 9:30. We apologize. Our breakfast clubs are always at 8:30. So, and we have chosen the last, is it the 4th Tuesday or the last two? Well, I guess the last Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
So just put that in your calendars and we will wrap today's session. We did record it, so we will post the recording, I believe, on our YouTube channel. And yeah, thank you everyone for participating. I think there was a lot of great information that was shared today. And remember, go and like everybody's Facebook pages, follow them. If you're in Kenora, sing to Jen's coworker.
Her name is Danielle.
Her name is Danielle. All right. thank you. And, you know, feel free to stick around, have coffee, donuts, yogurt, a banana, whatever floats your boat. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next month.